now because we do not have a Chief Justice?
I said, as long as it is not a Chief Justice, the situation may not change. And I am not saying that the acting Chief Justice is not doing her best. I am simply saying it is not the same as having a Chief Justice, because the Chief Justice ultimately is responsible. Anyone in an acting position does not really, is also acting for a temporary time. So you don't start anything that you can't finish.
Is it Senior Counsel's considered opinion that then for this last 4, now almost 5 months, there's been a vacuum in the judiciary?
It is not an opinion, it is a fact. There is no substantive Chief Justice in office.
No, the question is vacuum. Has there been a vacuum?
I have not done a survey to ascertain what it is that would be described as a vacuum. I will only say I go by what is current and available to me, and I go by what I have read very carefully in the memorandum of the KMJA. So they are not concerned, they're not dealing with your performance as an acting Chief Justice. They are talking about the past administration, and they are talking about what they hope for in a future administration of the Office of the Chief Justice. So I wouldn't want to pass any judgment on your performance as acting Chief Justice.
Chief Justice, you would be the team leader in developing policies that ease the way we do work here and to enable us to achieve our core mandate, the reason for which the judiciary was established. And so the question is, with a bit of emphasis on access to justice, please discuss a few of the policy issues that we have discussed in our 2019-2023 strategic plan.
I'm sorry, madam. Your question is not specific enough for me to answer it. Maybe I should put it this way.
Have you interacted with the 2019-2023?
I have it here.
Good.
But what I would like to say is this. I don't fault anything that you have done so far. The wheel has already been invented. So my job, as I come in, if I, as you say, if God wills it, is to make sure it works.
Senior Counsel, yes. We are testing as a commission. You are having interacted with the policy and understood what it is we think will enhance access to justice between 2019 and 2023. We are not asking for a critique. We are trying to get to know that you have interested yourself sufficiently in the workings of the judiciary to see its strength, to see its weaknesses, to see what you are coming to fix. And so the specific question is, on what we have seen as our strategic priorities for the period 2019-2023, that we have already put those already. The work is done for you, for us as a commission, and for us to be able to assess you. It is to see what you have taken out of that and what you would do differently if you came in as Chief Justice.
I'm trying to make my answer simple. I would do nothing differently. I would make sure it happens.
Let us go still under the same topic to the Constitution. Emeritus Chief Justice Mutunga once said this, which I quote, "It is unusual for a constitution to to be as preoccupied by the question, scope, methodology of its own interpretation as Kenya's 2010 Constitution. I'll read that again. It is unusual for a constitution to be as preoccupied by the question, scope, methodology of its own interpretation as Kenya's 2010 Constitution. Now, Senior Counsel as had interactions, I hope I should have actually started there, with the Supreme Court's decisions, particularly those concerned with constitutional interpretation. Distinguish for us, please, what you consider to be the methods and objectives of constitutional interpretation, and whether it is possible to generate progressive and contextual jurisprudence utilizing the tools of strict constitutional interpretation. Are we still together?
You've lost me. I'm not sure even you are with the question.
Yes, I am.
Please repeat it.
I am with the question because I'm the person asking the question. It took me time to come up with the question.
Okay.
So I know the question. And it is this. And it exercised the mind of Chief Justice Mutunga as it exercises mine today, and as it has exercised the minds of many counsel in this country when they discuss the work of the Supreme Court. Chief Justice Mutunga was of the view that the 2010 Constitution was so subjected to discussion as to its scope, the methodology of explaining itself, explaining as into interpreting it. And so, I ask, part of the criticism the court has received is that it does not know what it does when it is interpreting the Constitution. And here we are looking for your views
as to whether or not they know what they're doing.
That, and whether or not there's a difference between, there are many ways of interpreting the Constitution as the Supreme Court currently has constituted, understood its role, and as any interpretation it has applied to the Constitution been restrictive to creating jurisprudence. I hope now you understand.
I will try and answer your question as I understand it. I first deal with the Constitution. There are those who have studied the type of Constitution we have, and as much as it is described as the most progressive Constitution and the best Constitution on the continent or in the world, there are many who are prepared to concede that in being so elaborate in scope and methodology, and even in trying to interpret itself, it lends itself to very many interpretations, so that those who achieve what they want through certain interpretations of the Constitution are happy with it, and those who feel aggrieved by that interpretation are not happy with it.